Good morning. My name is Quinton Richards. I'm the originator of Verenigma, and I wish to introduce myself to give some scope to you about what we're endeavouring. Essentially, there's a long odyssey which arrives at this point, and I'm not going to go into the history now, so much as to say the arrival point is the beginning for yourselves, in that what we are providing is the means for yourselves to achieve a sense of equilibrium and relief from the aspects of the conditions that you're suffering from. In my understanding, as limited as it is, this is for those for whom it is not over. And to that extent, we provide that initial step, the gateway to better management and better control for oneself. I wish you the best. I thought I'd pick up on the thread about emotional regulation and relating to alexithymia, because I'm doing something that I regularly enjoy doing, which is drinking a pint of beer. You see that in front of a lake, and the choice of this particular location is special because it brings out a tranquil sense of release and reflection, which is actually very much part of the internal construct that Verenigma can help provide a support to induce better sense of self. We all know what we like doing, what we usually do, found out. So this is a good time from when I was coming down to reflect upon things and think, well, I knew I had to do more to be able to say about the process of how Verenigma might work for any individual. So there's that internal aspect that you might have seen on the website, which talks about identifying your situation, and then from that identification of your emotional situation, selecting a particular exercise or activity which suits your mood and takes you into a better place. And then, of course, you've got to implement it, like I did. I dropped my son down at a friend's house in Heathfield, and then I thought, I'll come down here, which is about 3 or 4 miles away, down to a lovely fishing location, but it's called the Tap Room. Funny enough, it's owned by a guy, Roger Daltrey of The Who. His other part of his life is fishing down here in East Sussex. He's lived here for many, many years, and he provides a fantastic retreat for those who like fishing and otherwise. Getting back to the main subject, so he looked at, for me, it was like I was working at home. Oscar said, take me to his friend Isla's for the afternoon. And I thought, oh, that's an opportunity to get out, to make a change, take a break. So I came down here. Now with the Verenigma system, I could do a voice message before going out. And then at the end of this time, so I've been drinking my beer, 2, 3, 4, whatever, on my own, and then I've got to go and pick up Tess later on. I could then do a voice note at the end of this session and see what the system will provide the difference between the beginning and the end. That time might be an hour, might be half an hour, might be 2 hours. But the difference between the levels of anxiety, depression and stress between the beginning and the end, we divide by the time frame. So if it's like half an hour, that's 0.5. So we can get a standardized unit measurement of the changes on those indicators, which can be useful to you. So you could then slot it into my thing, going for a drink down at the tap room, and seeing that will provide a beginning of a track record of how that works for me in reducing stress. There may be situations you want to use in the other way. So finding out how much doing a particular activity increases your anxiety or stress. So it cuts both ways. But that's the way the system is meant to be used, to allow people to make conscious decisions about their own ways to be able to regulate their emotions better over succeeding times, because they can make comparisons between different kinds of activity. My other one that I enjoy doing is playing squash, which I do on a Saturday morning for an hour and a half, Sunday morning, same again, and sometimes Wednesday evening when I can be bothered. And that induces obviously a lot of relaxation from having done some arduous exercise. But by me able to sort of identify different things which can feel good for me, I can see which ones are probably better than others. And one can therefore make changes. And that is part of the whole thing about emotional regulation. So you can guide yourself in a conscious way towards a better state of play. But also the very fact of being able to reflect upon your situation, that reappraisal, and doing this on a regular basis, actually helps induce the effect labeling, which induces a greater sense of connectivity to reduce, if you have got alexithymia, high levels of alexithymia, to reduce those various other neuropsychiatric symptoms that you're suffering from. Anyhow, I think that's enough just for a moment, because I've got to have a bit more to drink. I hope this gives a little sort of, what should you call it, a real example of how to use the system. There'll be other ones. I'll try and do one for squash and see how that works out, so you can just get an idea. And also you can apply it in your own way for your own circumstances. Anyhow, good speaking with you. Signing off now. Bye.